Hey, beautiful souls. It's Marie Miller with House of Kellen, also known as the Spiritual Geek. And we're talking today about self-love, being able to fall magically in love with yourself in the best way. Right now, a lot of times it comes up with people when we talk about self-love is they feel like they might get too cocky, or there's that feeling of self-absorption. So if you, those are the things that are coming up for you when I say the word self-love, you may want to do some work on releasing your definitions that you aren't allowed to love yourself, or that it's selfish to love yourself, or that you'll become too conceited. And to be able to release those, because self-love is one of the things that's really needed, that confidence. We really need that in order to be able to love others, right? Because there is some truth to the saying that if you can't love yourself, how is anyone else going to love you? Because it is one of the 7 types of love out there, and they're all so interconnected. And for me, one of the first things that really comes up when I think about self-love and how to really have that self-confidence is to accept who and what you are, and who you are being now and how you're being now. Right. So I'm a woman of a certain age. So my body's been going through a lot of changes, right? I have wrinkles, I have things like that. When I think it's when I hit about 30, that's when my eyes started dropping, and it wasn't quite as much fun to wear makeup. So part of my self-acceptance journey and love journey with myself has been to go ahead and get that subscription to Ipsy and to start playing with makeup again and finding out like what works with my face now. Right. The other thing too is I've gotten a little bit of pandemic weight, right? That happens. And so I could get mad about it. Yes, I'm doing different steps because I want my old clothes to fit. But the really about where self-love comes in is I went out and I bought clothes that fit who I am now, instead of trying to squish into the other ones or getting mad that they don't fit. I'm like, you know what? I'm still really beautiful, and I'm just going to go out and find things that really complement who I am now. And yes, some days I will get back into some of my cute clothes that I love, but I'm also going to have cute clothes that I love now. Right. So one of the ways to become into self-love is to really love who you are, what you look like, how you appear to the world as you are now. And part of the reason that's important is because your body knows how you feel about it. So if you're looking in the mirror and you're going, oh, I'm so this, I'm so that, your cells will feel that. But if you look in the mirror and you go, oh my gosh, I am beautiful right now, exactly how I am, that's actually going to help your cells sing a little bit better, right? That love and that acceptance of who you are is what's going to actually help your body get to where you would like it to be, right? I want to fit back into the clothes that I brought with me when I moved to Ohio, but getting angry with my body is going to slow that process down. Right? As opposed to being like, okay, this is me. I love the journey I took to get here. And I'm also excited for the journey to get back to where I want to be again. Right. So one thing I want you to do, and part of a journal, is to be acknowledging what is amazing about you. So often we look in the mirror and we just see our flaws. Right. All we see is like, oh man, this isn't right, that isn't right. There's a little squishiness here, I have wrinkles there, as opposed to being like, oh my gosh, I actually have all of these beautiful things going on. And the other thing we want to do is also talk about self-care, right? And I know sometimes, as mothers, because we're taking care of everyone else, it can sometimes feel selfish to take care of ourselves. But we also want to define what self-care looks like. A lot of people think self-care like, oh, that's getting a massage or going for a spa day. But depending on where you are, it can be a lot of different things. Sometimes, for me, like self-care is eating the hummus and the cucumber instead of macaroni and cheese. Sometimes it's like making that decision to eat something that you know is a little bit better for you. Sometimes self-care is getting on the treadmill. Sometimes it's just taking a shower. And the other kind of self-care that's really important is setting the right boundaries for you, right? Everybody has different boundaries, and everyone needs to set different boundaries for themselves. And that really is a way that we show love and respect towards ourselves, is setting those boundaries. So what does boundary setting look like? That's always another important topic. Sometimes it can be like just being like, you know what, I'm really tired, I need to end this conversation, I've got to go, instead of holding into conversations that you aren't feeling enlightened by. Sometimes it is, changing your mind about going somewhere because you felt you had the energy to go, and then things change. You're like, you know what? I'm really not feeling that. So allowing yourself to change your plans, allowing yourself to say no. Self-care and setting boundaries is also thinking before you say yes. Some of us just automatically volunteer for things, and that can lead to resentment and things like that. So being really intentional as you say yes and as you say no. Some other boundaries are, and these are more work boundaries, is I just don't answer the phone past 5 p.m., right? I have time set aside in the morning where I'm going to wake up, I'm going to answer my phone calls, answer my text message, and get back to all of those people, right? And so for me to be able to know that I have time set aside for my boo and for my friends and for my family, it's like I've had very defined work times. And so those of us who are running our own business, that can be a little tricky because we also may be in the mentality of like, I have to work 24 hours a day, right? And that can actually lessen the amount of abundance you have if you're already tired of what you have now. So your writing assignment for today is going to be to really think about what is amazing about you, what makes you special, right? In what ways are you kind of in love with yourself, right? And then also writing down what are the kinds of self-care that you need to bring more into your life, right? And then also you want to look at what ways are you judging yourself and just let those go. What is it going to take for you to accept you as you are? Right. So we'll give you some beautiful downloads. So do you want the creator's perspective and definition of self-acceptance? That it's possible for you to learn and grow and change and shift and be the version that you want to be while still loving and accepting yourself. And you want to know what it feels like to be in a state of self-love without feeling like you're cocky or that you're selfish. And you want to know what it feels like to actually fall in love with yourself in the highest and best way. And that you know how to see what's amazing about yourself. If you want these downloads, just say yes. All right, beautiful souls, that is the talk for today. We'll be back tomorrow to talk about soulmates.